Welcome back, Grip Ground. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Lost in the Dark podcast. We are back. My goodness. It has been a minute. I still got to put together the Toledo Death Fest episode. There's a new episode I have in the bank with Keith from the Convalescence. There's a handful of stuff that still needs to come out. I'm sorry I'm behind on all of it. Doing all of this alone now, so it's taken me a little bit longer to get things out, but trust me, everything is still coming. But tonight, what I want to get into, of course, tonight we welcome a new guest to the show, first timer, but officially part of the Crypt Crew forever. Mitch Waddell. He is a fucking fantastic artist. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about mental health. We talk about some of the things that he's dealt with, and just his artwork, what inspired him, what got him to go down this path. And it's absolutely an amazing conversation, and I cannot, from the bottom of my heart, thank Mitch enough for being on the show. And definitely is going to require a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the Crypt Crew for life, Mitch. If you're watching this right now, thank you so much again, buddy. And you are welcome back on this show literally anytime you ever want. We will set something up. So this is an amazing conversation that I hope you all enjoy. Normally I have things to promote right now. I don't really have much to promote other than to just say, watch out, new episode, a lot more new episodes are coming very, very soon. I have a lot I have so many in the bank right now that I just need to get to. Life's been crazy lately, but we're figuring it out and we'll get there. And so all of you out there that are sticking with us and watching this right now, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You have no idea what that means to me. Anybody out there that wants to reach out, I don't get notifications for comments and stuff like that on YouTube, but if you reach out to Lost in the Dark podcast on Instagram or Facebook, you are contacting me directly. So any of you that want to reach out for anything at all, want to be on the show, whatever, feel free. I guess the only thing that I can have to promote right now, our friends, our family, and the Convalescence and War are on tour right now. Be sure to catch them. They're on tour for about another week throughout the country. So go look up the Convalescence or War, WOR. Tour dates have been announced. They're on tour for another week throughout the country. So be sure to, if you get the chance, go see the show, because it is fucking amazing. But without further ado, everyone, that's going to kind of do it for this little intro. I hope you all enjoy this episode as much as Mitch and I enjoyed making it. And without further ado, my friends, join me in welcoming our new Crypt Crew family, Mitch, to the show. Welcome, Mitch. Thank you all so much for joining us back on Lost in the Dark podcast. Tonight we are joined by Mitch. And thank you, Mitch, so much for joining us. This is amazing. You are one of the first artists that we've had on the show in your capacity, and I know we have a lot to talk about tonight. First of all, let's just start off. Go ahead and introduce yourself in any way that you want to.
All right. Hi, my name is Mitch. My artist name is Grimm Artist. I'm a self-taught professional horror artist diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Instead of self-medicating through drugs, alcohol, I get psychological treatment, which I've been getting since I was 8, and I use my artwork as a main coping skill in a career.
And when I guess a better question, a better way to phrase this would be, how old were you when you started into all this?
Honestly, it's I've been drawing like since as long as I can remember. So technically, since I could pick up a pencil, I didn't start doing all the horror stuff, just horror until I'd say about 2019, and that's when I very first created my Twisted Creations page, and that's when I stuck strictly to horror like since then, and that's also when I decided I want to do this for my main actual career.
And this is a question I ask kind of everybody that is on the show for the first time, whether they be bands, artists, whatever, documentarians, like heavy metal in general, in the dark side of art in general, which is what I consider heavy metal. Um, it's something that most people get away from. Most people don't connect to it. So what made you connect to heavy metal and kind of the dark side of art?
Um, Pretty much. It's like metal has like, well, when I do draw, yeah, I listen to a lot of metal and stuff, but there's sometimes I would like to listen to some metal music. It's kind of hard to like when you're drawing and then like headbanging at the same time. So sometimes I want to just chill, mellow out, So I listen to metal stuff too. So to just relax, whether it's like mellow rock, soft rock, anything that can just help me just relax at that point.
Absolutely. So, but were there like what like were there any you said you started drawing at like 5 or 8. Was there something, was what you started drawing on the darker side of things when you very first off started, or was it like was it more I don't know, like was it something else, or was it on already on the darker side of things when you started off?
Do you mean like inspiring or?
Yeah, yeah, or what you were actually doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't. It's weird because like when I draw, I don't really think. I don't really like. It's like all of it just kind of. It's weird. It all just comes on goes on paper, and I don't really. A lot of people ask me where does the inspiration come from? Where does I say I really don't know. I just spill it onto paper, and that's pretty much it.
So it's not like any particular genre. You just go.
Yeah, technically,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What in and I know this is kind of like a more stereotypical question or whatever, but like what kind of like inspired you, what inspires you to make everything that you make?
I guess what could inspire me is the fact that I want to build a career out of it, and it's like because I want to build a career because I'm just devoted to it so much, it just makes you want to draw and just put stuff on paper that people would like, and people would just really enjoy looking at stuff.
But were there any like specific artists or bands that like made like in terms of your specific art style?
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I mean, a lot of artists I really like. For example, Frank Miller, the guy that made Sin
Oh
City.
my fucking god. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So like you know how we use like certain colors, like just like a splash of red with certain stuff, and that's one of the things that did inspire me. Cause like some of my artwork, I'll throw in like a splash of this color, splash of that color with it, and that was I got inspired by that through Frank Miller.
Frank Miller was a big one. All right. All right. Yeah, and especially with like, I mean, Frank Miller was the Dark Knight, you know what I mean? Like that he's one of the most influential. Frank Miller, and who was the other one that did it was Frank Miller and somebody else that did Sin City. Um I'm losing his name right now. Shit. But like Sin City, since like okay, so The Dark Knight is absolutely one of my favorite comic books of all time. as well as one of my favorite movies of all time. Um, and not only that, the Sin City is the first one is
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies of all time. It like
def-
that.
definitely a very good one. I saw that in theaters when it first came out.
So did I. So did
Yeah.
I. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And it was absolutely incredible to me. Um, so you do have a bit more of outside of just like influences from others. You do have a bit more backing on your reason. So your reason for being an artist. So talk to me a little bit about that. The Why did you choose to go the artist route?
It's like it said, it's something I just always been just interested in doing. It's more like it's a hobby, it's a career, it's something that I just love doing. I also, it's like the fact that I definitely support the mentally ill. And it's like, I guess I feel like I want to inspire others with mental illnesses that they could actually cope through artwork, music, and can just be an amazing outlook on life that you can just use to make things easier for you.
And you have been, that is something that you have been very adamant about. So specifically, if you're willing to talk about it, which I think you are, the specific mental illnesses and how you have been able to cope with them through art and in the specific way that you have done it. Are you willing to are you okay with talking about that a little bit?
Of course, I'm always open about anything.
So yeah, like the because you have sent me I mean God, you've sent me a lot of your artwork. Which is like every single piece that you've sent me, I'm like, that's a great fucking album cover. Like every single piece that you sent me is phenomenal. Like it's like it's to the point where it's like I can't compliment you anymore because it's like every single one is so fucking cool. Um, but so how did you get to the point, like what mental what illnesses are you talking about, and how do you kind of um deal with them through art?
Well, it's like a lot of things, with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, it's like, mood swings can be like extra hard to deal with. All the symptoms of bipolar disorder is like extra hard because you have the
Yeah.
schizophrenia part connected with it. So it's like, let's say if I feel like, let's say if I'm angry, if I just feel negative about something and I need something to just distract my mind, it's like all I gotta do is like I just put a headset on, crank the volume up, some music, and just draw. And it's like escaping from reality and just going into a world where I could just create things that are just different stuff.
I'm not gonna lie to you, like I've never like I mean, maybe this is something in a weird way, like in kind of opposite ways, but in a weird way we might be able to connect on because I my father has bipolar disorder, kind of like, and it's been a long time since I've been to a doctor, pandemic and everything. It's been a long time since I've seen anybody. And so I kind of feel like maybe I have some of those things, like, and maybe you can see that through through watching the podcast. Um, but but ultimately, like, I do feel like a lot of um the greatest musicians or artists in general
Oh,
of all time have like do have, it doesn't come from healthy, like normal shit. You know what I mean? A lot of the greatest stuff comes from something that's a little bit off kilter. And
yeah.
So what were, and I know this is kind of a normie question, but like what were you like in general, like through art, through music, through everything, like what made you go this route? Like what was the point, I guess, in your life where you were like, okay, because I saw your post. I saw a post on social media or something like that where you were like, um, I chose to go to art as opposed to drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, which a lot of people with your situation do. What was that flip for you? What made you go into the art as opposed to anything else?
Pretty much, I said I guess I chose to not like go towards drugs, alcohol, and stuff. I guess I have family members that have struggled with that in the past, and so I've seen like I guess I've seen people get damaged through drugs and alcohol, and I chose that. I just didn't want that lifestyle. I wanted to be. I didn't want to wake up in the morning not have to be like, oh, I got to get a beer. Oh, I got to smoke a cigarette. I got to do this. I wanted to wake up naturally and just say, okay, let's go put something on some paper.
Absolutely. But like, so you didn't want that. So what did you want? What like when you woke up in the morning, what were you inspired to do?
Like I said, it's just the artwork has always been there
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's just something that it just kind of came to me, and I just figured, you know what, this is what I like to do.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And okay. So off the bat, like there's pardon me. There are this type of music, this type of artwork is obviously like very I hate to use this word, but it is very niche. Like the majority of the population of human beings in general, um, they don't really gravitate. The majority of the population does not typically gravitate towards heavy metal, towards the darker artwork which you provide. So what made you gravitate towards that?
Well,
What were some of your biggest, like, did it start with the music? Did it start with like listening to heavy metal music and going further on that, or did it start from somewhere else?
oh, it's like, well, I've always been into metal, and I guess metal kind of got me wanted towards to do album covers and stuff like that. Like in my teen years, I would get a lot of artwork, I guess, just kind of like graphic novel kind of art. And but that, like I said, metal. Yeah, I've listened to a lot of metal, and it really kind of got me going with the artwork. And yeah,
And in those bands that you started listening to, what were some of them? What were some of your biggest influences in terms of like getting you into that in general? Like how, and that's the other thing is like a lot of people like for me and a lot of people that I've talked to on this show, metal is kind of something that they had to get shown. It's not
yeah.
something that they discovered on their own. So what's kind of your origin heavy metal story? Like how did you even discover it at all, or this darker side of artwork?
Like well, I got into metal and all that stuff. I'd say about 12 years old,
Yes.
and that's what got me. I mean, it's like my older brother. He would like always listen to like for example, I love Slipknot, man. I love especially
Yeah.
their old Masks, insane. My
I was
brother,
literally listening to earlier. I was literally listening to Slipknot to get hyped up for this fucking podcast.
yeah.
So yeah, I love Slipknot too. Yes.
So what happened was my brother. I remember he would like play. He liked Slipknot too back when we were like teenagers and stuff. And he would play Slipknot all the time. At first, I didn't like it. I thought it was just nothing but noise. And it's like the more he played it, the more I just got sucked into it. And I'm like, I love this. It's awesome. It's amazing music. It's very angry,
Yeah.
but they put it into music, and it's amazing how they do that.
And and I'm sorry to ask this. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Oh my God. So we're right about the same age. And where are you from? Like where is your origin story? Where are you from?
I was born in Apple Valley St. Mary's Hospital, which is in California. So I was born there. My
But where
mom
did
got
you grow up?
where I grew up.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was, so I was born in let's say Apple Valley, California. Then what happened was, I think when I was I was 3 years old, we moved to Germany, Europe, because at the time my stepdad was in the military. We got stationed there for 3 years. Moved back to the States when I was 5. From there, we were living in Texas, Plain, Texas, actually. And life got kind of rough. My mom, she was struggling with stuff. We ended up we didn't have much money, so we moved from Texas to back up to California. We had family up there. They helped us out really good. And then, sure enough, I'm back here in Texas again.
So you're in Texas right now?
Yes, I'm in. Right now, I'm in Bedford, Texas.
Oh my goodness. Like that's so we're talking from Texas to Michigan. I love that.
Yeah.
That's wow, dude. So it's a good thing I mentioned that it's Eastern Standard Time. Are you in Eastern Standard Time?
Um,
What time
Honestly,
what time is it for you right now?
yeah. Let me check right now. Actually, it is 7:29.
So you're exactly 1 hour behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's insane. And it's just beautiful that we're even able to do this right now. Like that's so awesome. Have you ever the only other I'm pretty sure I could be wrong about this. And I'm sorry to anyone if I'm wrong about this, but I could be wrong about this. But have you ever heard? I think the only other band I've ever talked to from Texas was a band called Scream at the Sky. Have you ever heard of them?
No, not really. No, I haven't heard of.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. If you like a harder version of I mean, and this is like the cliff notes. This is just the easiest way to describe it, but this is the cliff notes, and it's way, 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 way more than that. But like if you like a harder version of like a Linkin Park, you will
Yeah,
love Scream at the Sky.
really. I love Lincoln Park. That's Chester
Then you
Bennington.
will.
Love that guy.
Did
So
you ever
sad it happened, but yeah.
did you ever get to see him live?
Oh no, that's another thing I want to do. Definitely want to go to concert, man. I really haven't been. I only been to like I think 3 my whole life,
How
and never been
many?
able
Wait, how many?
to see.
Oh. Okay, so who have you seen live?
Okay. First concert. I was 12 years old. Me and my brother and his friends. We saw Guttermouth. Got my first mosh pit. Probably the only mosh pit I got into. But yeah, I was 12 years old. Went to see Guttermouth. Third underground, actually underground punk rock group. And then second concert was I think Diecast opened up for Seven Dust. And then after that, I think I saw the Addicts, which is probably the best show I went to. Not really into the band, but they put on a hell of a show, and that was an amazing concert. But yeah, it was epic.
So you haven't been to very many shows, have you?
Yeah, that's definitely. Man, I want it. I'll tell you what, man. I'd give my left nut to see Slipknot.
I
I would
mean,
love to see them.
so why haven't you? Like because they tour every year. Like how like do they just not tour in your area?
Well, honestly, the thing is, because I have schizophrenia and bipolar with a learning disability, I don't have a license. I don't drive. Plus, I never really had money. I've struggled with money pretty much my whole life. I'm still to this point considered a broke artist that's trying to make more money to help family and just do stuff like that. So I haven't had money for tickets. Didn't really have connections to get rides to the concerts, and that's the main reason right there.
I understand. I understand. Like I actually I have a lot of friends that are in that exact same situation. So what I do want to know, like, because your artwork is so specific, like, I don't know, that's not even the right word. But your artwork, it like, okay, let's start off here. Who what bands, because I know you are an artist, and you do like cover artwork for bands. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong about that?
Yes, like I said, it's only been 3 times because kind of have a hard time trying to do artwork for bands because I have a hard time coming across a band that would say, "Oh, we can do this." "Oh, I like your stuff." So yeah, I might end up. There's this one guy that likes my artwork, and there's a very good chance I might end up doing some artwork for him.
But
He's gonna.
what bands have you done artwork for?
Honestly, it's been a while, so let me think. One was called Arcane Enemy. I remember that much.
I've heard of them.
And I remember back then I wasn't like when I did these albums. Okay, back then I wasn't like I would say as experienced because it was a while back. So I'm more experienced now. So Arcane Enemy, that drawing was more. It was a pencil drawing, it wasn't ink. So I did that.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's this other guy, very interesting musician. Actually, he's a Christian metal musician. He does strictly instrumental work, and
That
it's
is
guitar.
weird to work with.
It's electric guitar. That's instrumental. The dark Shredcerto, I think, and he did his the violin or not my bad. The guitar music, the electric guitar music he does, it's insane. It's like shredded.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
really good, fast paced. I don't know how he does it, but brilliant guy. Um, let's see the other one. The brother, I think it was the brother Grimm was the third one.
Brothers Grimm.
The brother Grimm.
Brother Grimm. Yeah.
The brother.
I've
Grimm.
heard of I've heard of them as well. Like I don't know if I could name you a song, but I've heard that band name before.
Yeah, I did one album cover for them too, and that was also done in pencil.
Okay. Okay. I mean, like honestly, like like so much, like you've sent me so much artwork, and all of it seems like something that would be perfect. Like I'm not gonna lie, I might hit you up for some Lost in the Dark artwork in the future. Like because I'm at this point after everything's said and done, I'm kind of the only one running this show right now. So but I want to get into so I might hit you up for some of that in the future, definitely. But I do want to get into like how like you talk to me, like, and I hope I'm not like going off kilter here or anything like that, but like you talked to me about wanting to talk about bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and stuff like that with your artwork. You've already talked to me about some of your like band influences. Are there any are there any I don't know, like one of my favorite artwork, like cover artists in terms of bands of all time is like Vince Locke, because Vince Locke has literally made every single Cannibal Corpse cover ever.
Yeah.
Derek Riggs, of course, invented Eddie with Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah.
So are there any of those, like what artists like that? Like I love H.R. Geiger or Geiger, the guy that invented the xenomorphs and Alien. Like I love a lot of these artists. Are there any of these artists that influenced you? What artists like drawing artists, artwork artists influenced you like that you want to give a shout out to at all or
Yeah. Another. Oh well. Okay. Now there's a certain Pacific metal artist that I love, and I do listen to him a lot when I'm doing artwork, and that is Brian Head Welch. Yeah, he's a Christian, and I love that. I love the fact that what he
wait,
did was he
wait, is he what band is he? Corn? Is that the Corn?
he's a guitarist for Korn.
Yes, okay. Head Welch. I love him. Yes, yes,
That,
yes.
yeah, his story is amazing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
no, yes, totally. Yeah, I
his,
love that guy. Yeah.
I listened to his, like, especially his solo album that he did. I would draw just by listening to that, and it's like it really got me going because like he'll talk about the struggle with drugs and all this stuff, and he just puts it like in metal form, and it's very inspiring. I never got addicted to drugs, alcoholism, but it's like I said, I've seen people struggle with it, and friends, family, and I know it's rough. So yeah.
And how and okay, and just okay, so everybody knows my Zoom is fucking up. We're on my Zoom. We might have to like re-jump in the next 10 minutes or whatever. But
Yeah.
but we'll do that. But having said that, that little disclaimer right there. Um so what was it for you? Like what was the thing for you where you went the opposite route? Like like you went the opposite route of like drugs and alcohol and just going into full art with your you told me, and I hope this is okay to say, with your schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. What made you like kind of shift into art as opposed to anything else? Like what was the catalyst?
Well, it's like I said, I've had a lot of family members, friends that did struggle with the alcohol, the drugs, and it's like certain topics of my life that I don't bring up because it can affect family and stuff like in a bad way.
I understand. I
Certain
understand.
stuff I talk about, certain stuff I will talk about. Like I
And
said
just
about
and this is a place where you can whatever you're comfortable with. Like this is safe, stay safe. So
yeah, well, like I said, it's just I would say certain family I would say that struggled with addiction along with a mental illness that made me love that person and not want to go down that path. But at the same time, I still love them and respected them for being a family.
absolutely, absolutely, yes. I've actually had similar experiences with some family members myself. But what like kind of like what was the thing that what was the thing that what was it the experience of of seeing your family members firsthand go through that? Was it that or was it something else that made you go, i'm gonna I'm gonna flip this a different way and
Yeah.
not go in that direction?
It was just, I guess, watching it happen, it's like it was traumatizing, but in the same way I deal with like traumatizing events very, very simple and easy because I talk about my issues very, easy and stuff. So it's like I don't know. I think it just made me like kind of freaked me out a bit. It's like I'm thinking like, okay, like here's my life now. Here's what it's gonna end up if I do drugs. Like with schizophrenia, you do drugs, schizophrenia will evolve into worse and worse cases of schizophrenia.
Yep.
You can go to something like a simple, like a very like mild schizophrenia form to full blown worst schizophrenia they have.
Yep.
And simple drugs, methamphetamines, along with LSD, can easily make that happen.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
That's the reason why I'm like, I'm not touching this. It's like I got problems as it is, man. This is like not gonna happen to me, you know.
100%. Like I experimented with LSD at one point in time, and I will never touch it again because of my
Yeah.
experience with that. It yeah, I did not like it. I did not like it. But yeah, so that's a fucking that's a very specific thing. But like uh so how then talk more, I guess, if you can.
Oh, of course.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything,
No
but
worries
talk
on. Good.
but 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 talk more, I guess, if you can, about how it was for you to kind of like, because you have your own situations, and transporting that into art, whether it be drawing, whether it be actual music, whether it be podcasting, whether it be any kind of art that you choose to do. How did you kind of like because you texted me some of your story, and I was like, this is amazing. How did you kind of like, in your way, transfer from like, oh, I could go the drugs and alcohol route, but instead you stopped that and you went into the artist. I just wanted to make art. So kind of like, if any way, shape, or form you could describe that process.
It's just like I said, I was diagnosed when I was 8, for one.
So this has been a lifelong thing in a way.
It's
Di-
definitely
and diagnosed at 8 with what?
at 8 years old, they diagnosed me with schizophrenia, bipolar, which is technically the diagnosis is bipolar schizoaffective disorder.
Yes. Yep. And and for the just so you know, and I know like everybody watching right now, you might think we know each other. No, this is the first time we're meeting each other. And
Yeah.
just for the record, I actually did like, I spent a lot of years in college studying psychology and all of these sort of things, especially schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, especially those things. So I kind of get this. I at least have a loose understanding of where you're coming from. Like, I'm not trying to say I understand everything, but like I at least have a little bit of an understanding. But please go on. I'm sorry. I know I interrupted you. Please go
So
on.
what happened was they say first of all, it's extremely rare to be diagnosed that young because usually the symptoms of schizophrenia don't show up to about, I'd say, teen years to early 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is rare. Yeah.
they said I had one of the most extreme cases they've ever seen, and I was extremely lucky to be diagnosed that young because I think my earliest memories about having symptoms of schizophrenia I think began at the age I felt like when I was like 5 years old. For some reason, I remember looking at my hand, and I guess I was focusing on the wrinkles and stuff in the hand so much, and it kind of felt like I was slipping out a little bit of, I wouldn't say reality, but like that, and I stopped looking at my hand. So I think I was like 5 years old, and then I kind of remember certain stuff like that. And my mom, when I was growing up, she always knew that there was something. She didn't know. I mean, and it's like at first she might have thought that I had autism because how I acted, and then 8 years old, man, she started noticing these things that I wasn't this average 8 year old kid. So she did what she had no choice to do as a mother, and just really she killed dudes. She had no choice, and she had me admitted into a psychiatric hospital for 3 months, and I was diagnosed there.
Okay.
But it was a very, very good hospital. They treated me very, very well.
Was
And
this
it was actually
what
a fun time.
what's no, you're fine. What state? I just want to know what state was this in?
Well, that was actually okay. I told you before I was here in Texas, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was living there, I was living here in Texas when I was 8. And Texas has really good mental health resources and stuff. That's why I was able to get the treatment I needed. So
That's
I
good
went to
to
this.
know.
It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne,
and Michelle.
and we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, and you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Hello, my friends. My name is Burton, and I am the host of the Michigan metal podcast, Lost in the Dark podcast. And I would like to introduce you to an all-new, all-paranormal podcast called Follow the Reaper, where I examine all true first or second-hand listener-submitted paranormal or unexplainable encounters of any kind. So if you or anyone you know has a story that they would like to share or have shared on the show, please reach out to us on social media or Gmail at Follow the Reaper Podcast. I would love to hear from you. And of course, please enjoy this episode of Lost in the Dark.
So yeah, like I said, admitted 8 years old, hospital. It was an experience, but it was fun. Good hospital, good doctors, good staff, all that stuff, So I actually had a fun time. I was scared the first night there, but after that, I really enjoyed it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I've been hospitalized times total. So, yeah.
You broke up a little bit there. You've been hospitalized what?
I said I've been hospitalized 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were they all for different reasons or the same?
Pretty much. Well, like the first time I was hospitalized was to be diagnosed. In 13, I got diagnosed. I was in the Loma Linda Hospital, and that was for them to adjust my medications. And then the third time was I went to the county hospital, which is pretty bad. And I was 27 years old. By that time, I went to the county hospital, and I was actually like, I didn't freak out. I felt completely calm. And but that was because I went through a time where I had, because my insurance difficulties, I was off my schizophrenia meds for 2 weeks. And by the time I got back on the meds, psychologically I was unstable, so I self-admitted myself for treatment, and I was there for like about 4 days. So.
Okay. And if you feel, and again, I can cut anything you want out, but like, if you feel comfortable talking about it, like how does the schizophrenia or the bipolar affect you now? Like how, like what goes on?
Well, honestly, it's like I'm on medication now, and I've been taking it for a long time. So it's like a lot of people know, they meet me and are like, they can't even tell I have schizophrenia because I'm so stable.
I like right now I feel I can't either. So
yeah, so it's like, it's weird, I mean, when it comes to any mental illness, it's like you're on medication, but you're not being cured. There's still stuff you're going to deal with. And it's like, I guess the fact that I know I have schizophrenia also makes it easier for me to cope with, and
totally.
I mean, I hallucinate off the meds. Yeah, I'll hallucinate. I'll have delusions, all kinds of crazy things, But it's like, as long as I'm on the meds, I feel like a normal person. And I say the artwork is like a way, like I said before, the artwork helps me escape from reality and go my own place and just, create things.
And you know what? That's actually a perfect here. Let me I don't know. Are you going off your phone right now or on a computer?
I'm using a Kindle Fire tablet right now.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just allowed you to share anything you want. So like if you have the ability on that Kindle to share any of your artwork right now and just throw it up on the screen, like I just allowed that so you can share anything you want.
Well,
Um I would love
I
for the people to be able to see some of your
artwork.
artwork
I
because it
got
is.
some ready.
Oh, all right,
Oh,
there we
so
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just show that, like, because your
yeah,
artwork is like I
there's
imagine. Yeah, the Grimmy. Yeah, look at that. Like
there's
I can
so
like a lot of your stuff. I can see being perfect for so many of the metal bands that I love. Yeah, I totally see this end up being used as album cover artwork at some point in time. Um give real quick and just for the middle of the episode, give everyone a
yeah.
shout out. How can they find you? How
Find me.
can they
All
find
right.
that artwork?
Yeah, of course. Well, the main thing they can like see most of my stuff on is my Facebook with the business page because I created it back in 2019. So that which is when I very first strictly went straight to the horror drawings. And that's it. So I got a lot of stuff on there. I got artwork, I got videos, I got photography with me and my mask on, and all that.
And
And it's
what's it?
called Twisted Creations,
Twisted
but it's
what?
spelled a certain.
Twisted. Yeah, yeah. Spell it. Yep. No, no, no. You don't know. Spell it. Spell it. Twisted what?
That. All right, it's spelled well. Okay, it's pretty simple. Twisted Creations, and except where the S's take place, I replaced them with the Z's. So
Twisted
it's simply Twisted
Zeations.
Creations
Yeah.
with Z's instead of the S's. That's how you yeah.
All right. And the links to that will be in the description below of this episode, of course. Um, do you ever go to like any Comic Cons or any cons or anything like that where you just have your artwork? Have you ever done that?
No, never, never. I have never done that before because I've always struggled with the ride situation. And it's like I guess that's like a main thing. One of the main things I have wanted to do since I moved to Texas. I want to, I guess, make friends to where like, hey man, let's go to a comic book convention, and I could just. Because so far, I mean, I thought my artwork is like strictly original copies. I haven't done any like you know, like prints. I haven't got that far yet. So,
And you're from like wait, are you from Texas originally? Or is this just where you moved?
no, like I said, originally from California.
Originally, that's right. That's right. Yes. Where in California? Southern or
It was like I don't know if you're familiar with the Mojave Desert area, the high desert. I don't know if you've heard of Victorville, Apple Valley, Barstow.
I
That's
actually I like okay. Okay, so I'm from Michigan and the farthest west I've
yeah.
ever been is like Wyoming. Um so no, I've never been to California. But am I familiar with the Mojave Desert? Yes, I absolutely am because another thing like outside of like beautiful art, like heavy metal artwork and heavy metal in general, this entire everything that comes with this music scene. Um, I'm also fascinated with, and ever since I was a child, I've been fascinated with paranormal things,
Oh, yeah.
and the Mojave Desert is a hotbed for that sort of thing. So
Oh,
yeah.
if I knew that, man, when I was living there as a kid, I'd be out there with a freaking telescope looking at
Oh,
the
dude.
sky every night.
Okay, you
I
know
didn't
what?
know that.
the you know, I and usually and we are getting to close to an hour here, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I will wrap this up soon. But one of the questions I always like to ask everyone that comes on the show for the first time is whether it be ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, I don't care. I'm into all of it. Have you in your life ever experienced anything that you would describe, considering all those umbrellas, that you would describe as paranormal? Have you
I've
ever
never,
experienced anything?
never experienced paranormal thing like UFOs, that type of thing.
UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, Dogman, Skinwalkers, whatever you can think of, like any of it at all.
No, I haven't actually.
Not
But
at
I
all.
would love to see a UFO, man. I mean, like that'd be something awesome to see. Cause I'm pretty big on that whole paranormal thing, also.
Where do you land on it? Like, do you think that that kind of stuff is real, or do you just think it's like everybody's saying bullshit?
Some of it is real, yeah.
I agree with you. I think yeah,
I don't believe we're not the only ones in this universe. There has to be.
no.
Look at the fact for pyramids. All right, you think the slaves in the pyramids put big old bricks on their back when they're being starved and beat? They don't have the strength for it.
We
There's
have we
there's
have
state that there were UFOs that helped that.
yeah 100%. We have as a species, as the human race, we have kind of there's a lot of new things that have been coming out recently, and we are kind of I think we're at the point where we're able to explain, like, human beings did build the pyramids and Stonehenge and all that shit, and like I think we're at the point where, like, yes, like I think a lot of the time we were underestimating humans.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we're like, because I saw a show once. I saw a show once on the Sci-Fi Channel called Fact or Faked, and like, dude in Michigan, there was a dude. They came up to Michigan, which already blew my mind, and there was a dude in Michigan that was essentially able to explain how they could move megalithic bricks
Wow.
very easily with the push of a hand. Like, you and I could push it with one hand based on how it was strung up by structures and stuff like that. And it's like, if a guy in Michigan could do this in I don't even know, 2008 or whatever, then yeah, they could have definitely done it back then. Now,
Easily.
like,
Yeah.
so I get how human beings could have created these megalithic structures. I understand that.
Yeah.
The question then remains, why? Why the fuck would you spend the time? Because either way, even if you can do it, it's still going to take a tremendous amount of time. Why spend the time to do that? I don't understand. And when you look at things like Project Blue Book and all this different stuff, in terms of things coming from outside worlds, yeah, no, I mean, you know, we look at I look at Pale Blue Dot. You know, we are the only home that we have ever known, Carl Sagan. And I think and I hope that this universe, that our galaxy, our solar system even, is way more populated than
Oh yeah.
we're led to
There's
believe.
definitely other stuff out there, you know.
I
Other,
yes.
of course, I don't think the aliens like look like in the movies, you know, like Alien versus predators. So I
No.
don't think they look like that.
Ah,
It's supposed to look more close to human-like, more closer to that, not exact, but yeah. They say they're supposed to look like little children almost, with no hair on the body like, whatsoever.
it would certainly make more sense for an extraterrestrial. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. Okay. It would certainly make more sense for an extraterrestrial to look more like us than something from the movie Alien.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the problem with that is that we're basing that off our human experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we can't really do that from an outside perspective. Like there could be something that evolved on a different planet that looks completely different, not necessarily like a xenomorph or a predator or one of the things from Signs or any of these movies, but maybe something a little bit different than a human being. And we have all these stories from ancient cultures, whether it be the Vikings, the Christians, we have all these different the Jewish people. Like we have all these different stories from different cultures throughout history of these things coming from the sky that look like us.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like it just seems like it seems like that's more likely. And like I'm really into like the paranormal side of things. I have been since I was a child. And yeah.
Another thing I'm interested in is the Bermuda Triangle. Like, what's going to happen if you go into the Bermuda
Well,
Triangle?
and that's
They say there's something like
that is another fascinating one to me, especially like part of the reason why it's so fascinating to me is because they had one big story, and then for all the rest of the year, like today, like 2023 or whatever the fuck year we're in, we we don't hear about stories from that anymore. Why?
no.
Why not? Is there nothing happening there, or are people just not flying
That's what
over
happened
there?
to
I don't know. Like,
yeah, Amelia Earhart and Fred Newman were flying up across the Pacific Ocean, and they went to the Bermuda Triangle. Boom, just disappeared off the radar. Never found the plane. Nothing.
and it's like, there's a lot of things like that. Cause okay, so you're in Texas. I'm in Michigan. I'm surrounded by the Great Lakes. We have a sort of Great Lakes triangle where weird shit happens up here, and like we have a lot of weird disappearances over the water here. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking, I don't really know what to do with all that. But like it's also to me ultimately at the end of the day, it excites me. It's like, okay, so we don't know what UFOs are. We don't know if Bigfoot's real. We have a creature up here in Michigan called the Dog Man. And actually, it has been seen in Texas multiple times, much like the Chupacabra. So like these weird creatures are being seen all the time. These weird things in the sky are being seen all the fucking time. Like, end of the day, there's weird shit being seen. I'm not sitting here saying, yeah, it is a monster. Yeah, it is alien or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's unexplainable shit. And we need to be able to explain it, but yet we do not yet have the ability to explain it. And that's kind of where humans fuck up, is like we're like we have Google Earth and we think we can see the entire Earth on that shit or whatever. But in reality, that's just a single image. We don't like there are parts of this Earth that modern humans have simply never been. And there are simply things to be discovered that we have not discovered. Like we are still all children on this rock floating in the infinite nothingness.
I agree.
Like it really is just like we are just children trying to like the idea that our how old are you? Pardon me for asking.
31. 31, yeah.
31. I'm 33. Okay, so we're about the same age. The idea that our parents have any more knowledge than we do is ridiculous. Like they, the era that they came up in, the era that we come up in, there's so much more knowledge at our fingertips. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And trying to put all that into a place, into any kind of like a belief system or not like pretending that we know anything is ridiculous. It's like we are all like we are children, and so are our parents. Like we're all children just trying to learn this shit together at the end of the day. There's no such thing as an adult. Like there's no such thing as an adult. Like we all, like you're 31, I'm 33. For me, maybe it was different for you, but for me, like it was like I imagined there would be a point in time where it's like I would get to a certain age, like all growing up, I imagined I would get to a certain age where I'm like, okay, now I'm an adult. No, that's not a thing that happens. That never happens. We just continue. And that's all it is. And we're just learning together at the end of the day. Like we're all just children learning together.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the conclusion I came to.
Yeah.
How about you though?
What's that?
No, how about you though? Like what like where are you at in that process? Like where do you land on that? Or where do you land on cryptids or ghosts or extraterrestrials or anything like that?
Well, like I said, I do believe that we're not the only ones in the universe. I do believe the Bermuda Triangle, spirits such as ghosts, stuff like that. I believe those too. Bigfoot, I'm not quite sure about, but there's other. It's like I kind of believe the Bigfoot thing. I kind of know. I'm not sure if I do or not. Because like I see stuff that people will post on the web, and I'm like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. But then other people will post stuff, and I'm like, no, that can't be.
Same.
But it's like I'm also like, example, the what's it called? Nessie or the
Loch Ness Monster?
I got the name of that stupid dinosaur. There you go. Loch Ness Monster, I believe that one. Because it's like you got the comet didn't wipe out all of them. A lot of these dinosaurs and stuff, they went like into the ocean. And the ones in the ocean, the comet and all that stuff didn't affect them. So you go deep enough into the trenches, you can find some shit you won't believe.
To this day, I actually heard a podcast earlier. I was listening to a podcast earlier tonight about fucking James Cameron, pardon me. James Cameron fucking can't remember what movie it was for. I almost want to say it was Titanic. It wasn't even Avatar 1. It was Titanic. Like one of the early ones where he sent some shit down to like one of the fucking trenches where the fucking tectonic plates were splitting apart, and they saw like 6 to 13 foot long like worms and manta rays and shit like that living down. Like there are like when you hear about like old stories of pirates or Vikings being attacked by a kraken, it all of a sudden makes all that shit way more
Exactly.
real. Megalodons seem more real.
Yeah, it's like, well, you can't go that deep into the ocean because there's the pressure. It will like crush you into like it will kill you. That's why we can't go that deep. That's why we haven't like gone down deep to find things.
But not the things that naturally live down there. And those things are still there, and they just don't come up to the surface. Like it's fucking like there are like look, it makes me think we do live in a world of monsters. Like, are you like I've like as a child, even as a child, even to this day, I'm still a huge fan of Godzilla and the Godzilla stuff. And it just makes me think like, yeah, that's kind of not in the same way, but in a sense, that still giant monsters coming up to the surface are still possible because they are down there. They just don't come up to the surface.
Oh yeah.
It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating. Like there's so much. Like we think because we have Google Earth and we can street view almost any street on the planet. That doesn't, like, I watched a TV show less than 2 years ago where they were the first film crew to be in that country ever. So, it's since, we all got to keep in mind, film is less than 100 years old. Film itself, putting things on film itself, what we're doing right now is less than 100 years old. Like, insane. Like, it really does blows my mind. It blows my mind. Yeah. It really like, we think we have a grasp on this little speck of dust floating in infinite nothingness that we're on. We think we have a grasp on it, but yet in reality, we don't. No. Because there's shit on, like, not even coming from outside the planet. We're sitting here talking about things, UFOs coming from outside the planet. No. What about the things coming from inside the planet? Like, that shit is still undiscovered. And it's fascinating. And not only that, like, bringing it back to you, fucking, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I haven't been like diagnosed with anything, but there are a lot of things that run in my family that I'm pretty sure that if I were to have health insurance and go to a doctor, they would probably diagnose me with like bipolar. I'm pretty, like, my father has that. So, there are certain things like that. And so there's just all the way from things coming from outside the earth to things happening from inside the people. Like, we're all just children. We really don't have a grasp on any of this yet. And yeah, is it like anything you got, like, I'm sorry, I kind of just went off on a tangent there. Like,
you're good.
but anything like in terms of like creating artwork, In terms of creating artwork in the way that you have, through your diagnoses, um like is there any advice, anything that you'd want to bestow upon the people, like anything that you would like be like, hey, this is a better way to do things?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, it's like when it comes to mental illnesses, you're going to deal with, either depression, anger, all that stuff. It's like the ways you can deal with it is coping skills, and always the best coping skill is a distraction from what's going on around you, whether it's singing, uh, writing, drawing, anything that can distract your mind from what you're focusing on that's bad. That could be a coping skill. You can use like your favorite thing you like to do and just turn it into a coping skill, and it can help you a lot.
Yes. Yes, that's I would agree with that. Like that is something that I have found for myself. Like um just curving into the thing that you like to do. Whether it be
Exactly.
podcasting,
Yeah.
whether like for me, whether it be podcasting, playing guitar, um
Yeah.
watching live performances,
Yep.
any way that you can curve it into something positive. um I mean because that's the thing, is like, for me at least, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like for me, my stuff has always been like, it's always been like, it's like if I curve it into something negative, it always turns into something bad.
Yeah.
But if I flip it, and I'm just like, I'm going to use this exact same energy, this exact same feeling. I don't know how else to put it, but like this exact same feeling into like, let me just throw this into the podcast. Let me just throw this into like playing guitar. Let me just throw this into like going to work, because my job happens to be like a really good place where like I feel like I'm on a stage. And it works for me. Um uh uh just any place I can exude this and this exact same energy, and not in a negative form, that's beneficial.
Yeah.
um so it's really just kind of like finding a way to put that energy in a positive way.
Exactly. 100%. Definitely. And it's like when you got, okay, like with bipolar, you're always going to struggle with, you got mania. And mania, of course, you're feeling really good, you're energetic, got really good ideas going, and then eventually what's gonna happen, you're gonna crash, and that's when you have mood swings or depression, depending on what type of bipolar you are. But one thing you can do to control that mania so you don't crash, you can actually wind that mania down by exercising, drawing, stuff like that. If you don't, take care of that mania like in a good way, what happens is you're gonna crash. You're gonna have meltdowns or being depressed. So you can prevent the depression or meltdowns just by exercising, drawing, just stuff like that. Go for walks, and that's how you get rid of the mania. It's yeah.
It's actually kind of trippy, because that's exactly like how I kind of deal with it. Like that is everything going for something as simple as going for a walk, to as extreme as doing a podcast or creating a song or something like that. Like that is exactly kind of what I do. Like, wow, you're kind of tripping me out right now because so that's amazing. Like, oh man. Yeah, that's shit. Like, yeah, no, I definitely probably I probably have some of those instances myself. Because I experience all of that uh for sure. But you know,
Yeah,
it's the kind of thing where, you know, we also live in, you know, you're in Texas, I'm in Michigan,
yeah,
and quite frankly, like, but I would venture that it's a safe guess that both of our societies are similar in the sense that, you know, these aren't societies that like are apt to deal with that sort of thing.
yeah.
Um and you know, so we just kind of have to find our own way and figure out what works for us, I guess. And it is a fucking process. Uh yeah, no, I definitely, wow. Like everything you just said hit really close to home. Um wow. And I know this shit runs in my family, so it is a thing.
It's when it comes to mental illnesses, it's genetic. It's passed down from family members, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we
and
don't
they'll
have a
say, yeah,
choice. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, yeah, one parent is bipolar, another parent's bipolar. I guess yes, 75% chance that that kid's going to be bipolar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't make it bipolar every time, but there's a high chance that your kid's going to end up being bipolar.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I honestly don't know. I know for a fact my father is, but my mother, I don't know. But yeah, I did. So are there any and okay, just for the record, I have totally kept you for longer than more time than I intended on taking up from you. You have been fantastic. You have been one of the best guests I've ever had. And you are welcome. Like, as far as I'm concerned, this is Lost in the Dark is just as much as a home for you as it is for me. You are welcome back anytime you want, ever.
Well, definitely be a heads up. I feel like doing another one of these, man. This is definitely probably the best interview I've done so far. This has
Oh
been very,
man.
really love this series, man. It's been really badass.
Are there any parting words that you would like to anybody out there listening that may have bipolar schizophrenia, anything like that? Are there any parting words that you want to like give to them, just to keep going or anything like that?
Of course. One thing I'll say, doesn't matter how hard life gets, doesn't matter how bad it beats you down, you gotta get back up, keep going, and just live life to how you want it. You just find coping skills and just be a happy person, man. And that's best you can do.
Honestly, and I mean, I'm someone that I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to a doctor in over 10 years, y'all. All right. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But it's
of course.
entirely
Completely understand.
it's entirely possible that I would be with the same things. And that's the one thing what you just said is the one
Yeah,
thing, the only piece of advice I can offer is
exactly.
keep fucking going.
Yeah,
Keep go like do not stop. Whatever your form of artwork is, whether it be album artwork, whether it be podcasting, whether it be making guitarist in a band, singer in a band, bassist, drummer, whatever, whatever
yeah,
whatever the fuck you're doing, even if you're the fucking merch guy, even if you're the
yeah,
fucking I don't care what you're doing, just keep fucking doing it. Like if it's what you love,
exactly.
if it's what you
Oh,
love,
yeah,
that's end of the day, that's all that matters. If it's what you love. And eventually, and you know what? This is something that I've always told the people. There is no podcasting, there is no fucking stand-up comedy, there is no heavy metal band for dummies. You know what I mean?
No.
Like these things do not exist. The one thing after, because trust me, okay, the one thing you can fucking trust me on is that I've listened to thousands and thousands of hours of podcasts from comedians, from musicians, from all these people. There is no this for dummies. There is no right or wrong way to do this shit. The one thing that the band that ended at the perfect time.
There we go.
Okay. So yeah, so I trust me, I'll edit all this together. But the one thing that every comedian, every fucking musician, everyone has in common. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way to do any of this. Because sometimes sometimes you release a YouTube video and it gets 10, 100,000 million views. The only way, the one thing that they all have in common is that they all do it for at least 10 years. Like, in a weird way, it just like, as long as you give that 10-year commitment, then eventually that gives you 10 years to get good, and B, you end up like, and it might even be 15 years. It might be 5 years. You never know. But like, end of the day, as long as you put in that 10-year commitment, that's what happens. And that is what I fucking said at the beginning of this like, when I started the podcast, I was like, I'm in this for 10 years, and we just crossed 5 years back in March. So I'm halfway in.
Exactly.
And this podcast has gotten way more reach than, and I know we don't have a lot of subscribers. I know we don't have a lot of followers. I know we're not.
I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel. So
well, but and yeah, but still, like we still don't have that many. You know, like it's like less than 300, I think. But even still, it's like I committed to this for this is a 10-year relationship, me and this show. And I'm going to talk to everybody that wants to talk to me. And then at 10 years, we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And I get to talk to people as amazing as you and Keith from the Convalescence and people from all these other different bands. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a privilege. Like the fact that you even hit me up to want to be on this show to talk about anything, that you know, like like that literally means the world to me, that anybody hits me up to be on this show. Like, I started this show just to talk to my friend, like my personal friends. Like, that's all the intention was. And then it has evolved into this thing. And someone as amazing as you hits me up to want to be on the show, and it's fucking and you're welcome back anytime you want. Like, this has been amazing. Like, and
and stuff
go ahead
with these interviews. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that hopefully I get you more viewers with these interviews, you know, and stuff. The better the interview, and the more viewers you get, and it's Yeah,
I mean, high tide raises all ships, but like, ultimately, I'm not in this for the viewers. I'm in this to talk to people like you, and just to talk to anybody I can. Like, if the people watch, the people watch. If they don't, they don't. I don't really care about any of that. Like it's mostly about the experience. Like I'm a little bit selfish in that sense, I guess, where I just want to talk to people like you. And I feel like we did a pretty good job at like covering some things, but I also feel like we should definitely do, like, it's been over an hour, so we should probably hop off. But like, I definitely do feel like we should do a part 2 where we dive like, now we've gotten to know each other. And I wish I wish you weren't so far away, and then we could go to a show together or something. But if hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. If you are ever in Michigan, my friend, you have a place to stay and you have a place that will welcome you. Like, ever, if you are ever in the state of Michigan, you have a place to stay. I got you. Always. So
Got you.
always and forever.
Right.
But I think this was a great starter off. And then I think the next time it would be good to as you said, he wanted to, and I didn't really know how to this time, to be totally honest. But like, next time we'll get a little bit more into like what it's like, because I feel like a lot of I feel like a lot of metalheads have the same kind of issues going on that we do. And to be honest, I've never been very public about mine, and you've kind of influenced me to do that tonight. So you've kind of influenced me quite a bit tonight, and you've helped me a lot in talking about this shit. I've never talked about my shit as in depth as I have tonight with you. So you've kind of brought a little bit out in me, and I really appreciate that. And
glad I was do that.
yeah, no, dude, this was a magical episode. And I really love this one. And I will certainly, like, I know we had some issues with Zoom where it shut out for a second, but I'll edit all that together, and it'll be fine. And thank you. Like, just seriously, thank you so much for being on the show. Your artwork is, that's another thing. We didn't even really get into your artwork yet. Like,
Cool.
as deep as I wanted to. Say it again. What was that?
I was saying, you said you want to do a part 2, and I can show more artwork, then. So
yes, absolutely. I will actually, like, the next time we're on, I intended on doing this tonight, but the next time we're on, I'll give you the screen share option, and then you'll be able to just throw up the artwork as you please throughout the episode. But man, you were fantastic. I cannot thank you enough for being on. You're an amazing guest. And I genuinely, like, really want to talk to you again. This is just part 1. I definitely want to do a part 2, 3, and 4. Like, I want to have you back on many times, because I absolutely love talking to you.
Of course.
So thank you, Mitch, for being on the show. Everybody check out his artwork. Links to all things Mitch in the description below. And that's going to do it for this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. Thank you all for watching, and we love you all to death. Good night.
Lost in the dark.